relive. Vince and Stevie D, OWSports podcast is the place to be. Bills Mafia, repping the red, white, and blue. No doubt with Josh Allen, just stand up and shout. Gang Green, coming with that New York flair. Jets in the mix, you know they taking it there. The rivalry is fierce, but they keep it 100. Legends in the making, pressure never stunted. From MetLife to Highmark, bright lights when the night's dark. Touchdown, dreams, steel beams, leave a big spark. Bills and Jets, we clash on the field, but on this podcast, we keep it sealed. Respect for the game, we all in the zone. Vince and Stevie D, we holding our own. So tune in tight, don't miss a beat. OW Sports, where the real ones meet. Sit back.
It's OW Sports, the fastest growing podcast about the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets. You get the best takes, the most engaging interviews, and they are always keeping it real. So sit back, relax, and get ready to talk some NFL. Now here's your hosts, Vince and Stevie D.
And welcome back to another edition of Official Word Sports. All that time. Take two. And welcome back to another edition of Official Word Sports. I'm Vince. I'm here with my co-host Stevie D. Boy, Stevie D, we seem to be, you and I seem to be just like our teams, off to a slow start, right? Once again, and we do apologize. Life happens, so we apologize for the late start, but we're getting started. We're here. We're ready to go. Stevie D has been hyped up, ready to go. Man, since the clock struck 4 zeros in that game last week, he's been ready to go. He's been calling me. He's been texting me. You know, I've gotten emails, all kinds of things. Stevie D is ready to go, and you can see it in his face. Look at that big smile. Look at that smile. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Now, me, on the other hand, Stevie D, I had a bye week. How relaxing!
Golf? You had some golf in your time?
I did. I got a chance to swing the clubs. It's been a while since I was out there swinging the clubs. Actually handled myself relatively well out there, even though I will tell you, they had this. So we were playing in a scramble, right? Charity scramble. You know, every hole they have a little stand set up. Well, this one we get to, it is, can you outdrive a future pro? So we're driving up and I see the sign, can you outdrive her? I'm like, oh, this can't be good. Right, there's going to be some, brace-faced little kid out there that's going to be able to hit the ball a mile. And sure enough, you got all these little kids, little boys, little girls. I mean, they're all high school freshmen, 8th graders, right? So, of course, we buy in for this event. And I just straight masochist, right? And you go up there. And I'm telling them, I'm telling the guys in our force, I'm like, this is very dangerous. Because if this kid is as good as, they're putting him out to be, he's going to outdrive all of us. And we're going to, you got a bunch of old men out here. So this kid gets up to the tee box. And sure enough, acne all over the face, right? He's got the braces in, right? Yeah, you got to be kidding me. And then he does his warm-up swing. And that was the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh boy. So, I was trying to get in his head. That I figured my best bet is if I can get in this kid's head, that maybe he'll do a duck hook or something like that. And I was like, where do you go to school? Oh, you got a girlfriend? I bet you got a bunch of girlfriends over there, don't you? This kid, as solid as it could be, looked over, smiles like, oh, yeah. Comes up, bam, dead center, USDA, prime cut right down the middle. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. This thing just rolled. I was like, oh, well, here we go. And then I started pointing to the other guys. I was like, you guys go. I didn't want to go. Needless to say, I caught a good drive, and I was happy with that. But yet he was still like 20, 30.
You got outdriven?
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah, 100%. 100%. It was bad. And here's the bad thing about it. I had a good shot. If I would have kind of topped it or got under it, I'd be like, oh well, no, I hit it good. I hit it good. But this kid, I mean, just launched it. What do you do? What do you do?
Did he
That was
talk trash after you couldn't beat him?
what's that?
Did he talk any trash?
No, he was quiet and just kind of walked away. And
Oh, so he had the quiet ego. He had the quiet ego.
he did. So then, I
Right
think
after he went in the back room and had his high C and some brownies and was talking junk to the other eighth graders.
he went to the tree to pull down his pull-ups. So that, he had to go. That's really it was bad, but still had fun out there and itching to get back. So
Why don't you
I
tell about your alligator experience? I mean, didn't you see
ah,
him?
yeah, with that we did. You saw the gator, yeah. So and this goes to tell you how long it has been since I've been on the course and I don't know why. In Florida, you would think that I'm on a course every week, right? But I don't usually play in the spring and summer. It's just way too hot. You can't enjoy it. For some reason, my mind was not on Florida golf. So we're sitting out there and look away and then look back right across in the middle of the fairway. Had to be about a 10 to 12-foot gator. Just walk it across.
That was a big gator.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it looked big as it was just standing there. I mean, and the photo you took was further back, and that thing
Yes.
looked massive.
Huge. He didn't look this way. He didn't look that way. He was just going from the woods to the water, right? And so, we're just going to wait a little bit, right? He just made his way and just kept going. We should have took him with us because the foursome in front of us, they were just going so slow. I could have said, hey, go say hi to them. That would have kind of sped them up a little bit. But, man, that thing was huge. Monstrous. And then we got on a hole, and I look up on the green. Like, is that a snake? It was huge. Right? This huge snake. I'll send you the picture. I was like, this thing is, I'm like, where are we? Right? This is
You
like
had
Jack.
a huge snake and a huge gator all in
Yes.
the same
This was
game?
like Jack Hanna's golf course. I swear, I saw all kinds of wildlife. A little bunny rabbit, saw a deer, and then see this huge snake. Right. And so the one guy I'm with, he's like, I'm deathly afraid of snakes. Can't play the hole. I'm like, dude, just go up there, right? The snake's over in their corner. And of course, there's always one guy in the foursome. There's always one, right? The one guy that wants to go pet the gator. Well, this guy wanted to go look at the snake. So he gets up to the snake. And lo and behold, it was a joke snake. Somebody, had one of those little, oh, yeah. It was good because he was just sitting there. And I kid you not, I could have swore, Stevie D, that snake moved. I could have sworn I saw a recoil, but then they pulled the string and, there's the snake. And then the guy's just like, I wasn't afraid of it. Get out of here. So, but yeah, you got to come on down. We'll hit the links. This may be a good year to go out there and golf, especially now that the weather is getting good. Sorry to all of our friends there in the north. Your golf season is about to end. And mine is about to begin. So, yeah, plenty of golf on the weekends, and maybe, hopefully, my boss isn't watching. Maybe some golf during the week. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, where do we start, Stevie D? Where do we start? Let's take a look around the NFL first. And we were just talking about. Before we started the podcast, we were just talking about the injuries that the Buccaneers had, and I'm gonna ask you a question here because unfortunately, as it came out, Mike Evans suffered a broken collarbone, broken clavicle, and that's going to put him out now. They said till about the playoffs, which means his streak of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons is going to come to an end, and that's too bad. But here's the bigger question. Did the Buccaneers look at the game against the Lions and say, this is a must-win, and rush back an already kind of iffy 50% Mike Evans, and now they suffered the longer-term fate of him being out.
I would agree if it was a hamstring injury.
Sure.
With the collarbone injury, I mean, he made a play. The guy landed on him. I mean, he landed hard, and that guy landed hard on top of him. It was rough to watch, right? Because you just felt the crunching of the bones. So no, I don't think from that perspective. No, they didn't rush him back.
Okay. Sometimes you see, excuse me, sometimes you see where you overcompensate. And to your point, by it not being a lower body injury and just the way that it happened, that, um, it's just bad luck for Mike Evans this season. And, when you start to see streaks like that, even though I didn't like the Ripken streak, because I thought it was a little cheesy how they kept running him out there, and his performance wasn't good. Evans' performance has been still solid,
Yeah.
right? So to try to help him get to get that or continue on that record pace, that was I could kind of get that. And, some of the others, no,
Well,
not.
I don't look at that as the Buccaneers are going to go. Except I know they had that one game where it seemed like they really helped him there at the end to get the 1,000 yards out on that one season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, he's such an unbelievable wide receiver that it's very conceivable if you stay healthy to get 1,000 yards in 17 or 16 games shouldn't be hard to do when you're the top receiver for that team, right? And so I look
Have
at
you
it
seen
as
some of the quarterbacks that they've had?
yeah, but still, when you're the number one target, the quarterbacks tend to favor the guy that can catch the ball, right, and can make plays for you. I don't look at that streak and say it's impressive because not a lot of people have done it. But it goes back to like what we used to say about running backs getting 1,000 yards. What do you have to average? 65 yards a game to get to 1,000?
True.
65 yards per game to get to 1,000. So same thing on the wide receiver spot. But nonetheless, it's something that's not done, and you should celebrate it because if everybody did it, nobody would talk about it.
True. Well, I think the biggest thing is the longevity, right? You didn't have that one season where you did the 800 yards or something like that. And again, as I said, you look at some of those quarterbacks throwing the ball, you're like, ooh, impressive.
And he's missed games with hamstring injuries, and he's still been able to get to 1,000 too. So, in fairness to Mike Evans.
All right. The talk of the town is, how do we start to talk about this game? That would be your New York Football Giants versus the Denver Broncos. There's so much to unpack in this one, Stevie D. We could do a full show on just this game. So let's start with the after. Let's start with the after. Okay. And I want to start with the after because it involves my guy, Russ. Let Russ cook, baby. Let Russ cook. Interesting how everything unfolded here. You had Sean Payton and Russell Westbrook. Everybody knows the history, right? Russell goes to Denver, signs this massive contract. Payton and the Broncos have buyer's remorse because Russ is not that good. And now they realize he's not that good. And they just get from under the contract. Why there's any animosity from Russ, I have no idea. Because you got paid for doing nothing. You were garbage and you stole money. So I don't know. But the little barb coming from Peyton said that he was talking to, good friends with the Tisch family and with the Mora family. I was talking to John and, I told him, man, this Jackson Dart kid, he's going to be something special. I really wish that you wouldn't have started him until after we played you. Now, no other names were mentioned, right? There's two other quarterbacks on the roster. But Russ decided to get his feelings hurt. And he decided to take to Twitter. And then he went all in. Stevie D, he brought up whatchamacallit gate. Which one did they call that one?
Bountygate.
Bountygate. He brought up Bountygate. Why?
when I read the quote, I looked at it and I says, he is that sensitive. The guy is holding a press conference, and I thought that press conference post game
Post game.
or his post game. I don't. He's not the starting quarterback. He's not going to talk about Russell Wilson. He was complimenting the young kid. Why does Russell Wilson feel the need to even take that as a slight? I don't think I don't think Sean Payton meant it as a dig at Russ. I think he was trying to backhand compliment Dart. Maybe I'm naive. Because why would Peyton all these years later, 2 years later,
there may have
take
been
a
some
shot?
there. There could have been some there.
Maybe
A little bit. There could have been a little there.
Maybe I didn't see that. I was looking for that facial expression that would have give me a little bit of a sign that he was trying to take a dig. Because some people, when they're taking a dig, you can look in the eye, you can look at the corner of the mouth, does a little something. I didn't see that out of Sean. Not that that doesn't mean anything. Maybe he's got a really great poker face that way. I just thought it was, Russell, like, you're that sensitive, dude. You're really, come on, man. Grow up.
100%.
Grow up.
And especially to go all in.
Because it wasn't not a. If he wanted to take a shot at Russell Wilson, he could have done it in a much better way, saying, "Let me tell you something, that Jackson Dart kid, because I tell you, whoever was quarterbacking that shit before would never have scored 32 points on that defense, right?"
I wish I would have had him in Denver a few years ago. That we would have been right.
Right.
So, but again, it's just Russ being Russ, right? Luckiest
I
man
think he
alive.
was trying to save face with his wife.
What's that?
I think he was trying to save face with his wife. His wife's probably saying, "Dude, you hear what Sean said about you? You're going to take that?"
Luckiest man alive to be with Sierra, because I'll tell you what, man. Anybody else trying to act like you have game? Ooh, but okay. But wait, there's more. Trey Greenlaw suspended. Now, did you see the video of how everything
Yes.
unfolded?
Yeah.
So I'll give you my stance. What's your stance on the suspension?
I think it's BS.
I do too. All right, we're on the same page. I do too.
He didn't touch the guy. He made a comment. The game was over. What, now you can't say something to the ref at the end of the game? Yeah, maybe he called him an effing idiot. I don't know. But for him to be suspended for the game, they hear a lot worse during the game, and you didn't touch him.
Did you see what happened before? So just before, they're all celebrating, and the referee finds himself in the middle of the pack of the celebration. And one of the Broncos, I don't remember who it was, Saeed or something like that, he comes running in, and the referee is trying to get out. And he pushes him in the back. Greenlaw is in front and sees the whole thing. That's when Greenlaw went after him. Okay. But he didn't go, to your point, he didn't put his hands on him. And I'm sure there was animosity. I'm sure there was, a little bit of tension built up from during the game. But he just unloaded. But there's a cause and effect. Greenlaw wasn't even looking for him. They were standing almost side by side before the push. If he really wanted to say something or do something, it would have happened there. And for them to suspend him and uphold the suspension isn't right, Stevie D.
I didn't have all of that backstory, but even with that backstory, I still don't change my mind. Because I think they suspended him for what he did at the end of the game, and I just fine him if you want, but suspension,
right? I mean, and even at that, and then I mean, how lame is it? The game is over. You throw your flag. Right. What are you doing?
Right. How do I want to say this? You can be at the podium, totally go off on the refs calling, and you would only get a fine. It may be a hefty fine, but you wouldn't be suspended. I don't know what he did where nobody else can hear it. Right. Because at the game, everybody's on the field. There's whatever. and you get suspended. Very, very bizarre from the NFL, and I can't believe the Players Association is taking that as lightly as they make it seem.
They're weak. They're weak, and we know they're weak. Okay, so now I don't want to laugh because there's still games left in the season.
Okay, man, we're 0-7. Okay.
We can find ourselves in the same situation. The Giants are up 19-0 to start the fourth. They're up 26-8
Yes.
with about
8.
was it 8 minutes
I
left?
think it was around 8 minutes to go.
And they lose. They completely lose. How do you allow a team to score 33 or not unanswered, but 33 points in the fourth quarter?
And think about it. They scored another touchdown.
Yes.
The Giants.
Yes.
So to put even more pressure on the Broncos to score another touchdown.
Yes.
So they really had to score. They were down by 18 and then 7. I mean, they literally had to score 25 points with 8 minutes to go in the game to win it.
I guess this is the year of the fourth quarter comebacks, right? It started with Buffalo coming back against Baltimore, and we've seen multiple double-digit ridiculous comebacks that have happened. But this one takes a cake. It really does. And then you cut the kicker as the scapegoat. That's not the problem. Yes, he missed 2 extra points. Fair enough.
And remember, he's the backup kicker. He's not their starting kicker. In fairness,
Correct.
He's not
Correct.
their
I think
starting
Gano is their starter, right?
Yeah.
But you cut this guy. The problem is your defense could not hold a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's the problem. Brian Burns told you on his way to the locker room what the problem was. But yet you go after the kicker. But then again, you did learn.
Easiest and the cheapest way to fix.
You learn from Sean McDermott. Find a scapegoat. See, Brian Dable, Joe Shane, they learn from the best. They learn from the best.
If you watch the replay of the ending of that game, Dable throws his headset down, and who does he yell at? The special teams coach. Your defense gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter, and you're yelling at the special teams coach. Again, that's not the primary kicker. The guy will probably never kick in the NFL again because a lot of backup kickers don't find place, and then you miss 2 extra points, and you become a scapegoat. It's hard to find another job.
It is.
But like to your point, man, you gave up 33 points. You gave up 25 points in 8 minutes. That is really hard to do.
I just sat there in almost in disbelief. I'm not gonna lie. I was in almost disbelief because I'm like, am I really watching what I think I'm watching here? And you didn't think that something like that could happen. So, all right, let's move away. Stevie D, there's a lot going on.
Well, I got a little breaking news that I gotta say that's not sports related. So my wife is traveling. Okay. She sends me a text. Now she's had all these problems getting to Jackson, Mississippi. They had different things going on at the plane. So she's like, we're delayed. She just writes, engine problems. They are going to start the engine another way. Just want to say I love you.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So instead of trying to scramble another plane or scrapping the flight for the night, they're trying to start the engine another way. Okay.
We're hand cranking it like it's 1920.
I don't.
Right, you got Orville out there. Wilbur, help me with cranking the propeller.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
What time is she due in?
She wasn't due to get into it close to midnight. So, but it's all about trying to get her connection. I don't know where her connection is, but probably Houston. It was Houston last on the way out. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So she's praying right now. I'm praying for her, that they scrap the flight. Just scrap the flight, right? What are we
Same
doing
here.
here? South, well, I don't want to. I think I kind of gave away the airline, but just be smart about it, right? If you got to start an engine another way, it's probably in your best interest to bring it back to the maintenance area and tell everybody, here's a hotel voucher. We'll come get you in the morning. Come back in the morning.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So
Why run the risk?
yeah,
All right. Are you okay to continue?
yeah. I'm good now. I just wanted to get that piece out there. So I had to say it to somebody because it was like, really? So I'm getting this text as we're talking about football. I'm like, oh man. So
So we had the Geritol Bowl, or they like to call it the Icy Hot Bowl, or whatever, AARP. It was interesting. Interesting. Two things. Flacco made it interesting. All right. Flacco made it interesting because I saw a personality come out of Joe Flacco. That is something I have not seen. I don't think since he came into the league. He's always been stoic. It was a Thursday night game. They had him, at the round table. Now, it was tough. It was tough. But they actually got him to smile and to joke a little bit, right? So I was like, all right. But I'm wondering if that was all inspired by the naked bootleg from Joe Flacco, Stevie D.
hey, it's like that movie, The Water Boy. You got to pull out all the stops. There's no right. We know, Brett. We know, right? But that was Joe Flacco, right? I mean, Joe Flacco had the fountain of youth.
He did until he realized what he was doing. I think
Get down.
he turned the corner and he was like, oh, here we go. And then like 20 yards down the field, he saw the safety coming up and he said, okay, let me slide now, right? Because he slid. Any other quarterback would have got like an additional 5-7 yards. Flacco was like, nope, I'm good. I am good. And he slid. But I'll tell you, his play, is it the receiver or is it him? Because
I'll tell you, it's the receiver.
okay, but we didn't see that same thing before Flacco. I'm not talking about with Burrow, but I can't think of the kid that came in after.
Brownie.
But Browning, yes. So we didn't see that for Higgins and for Chase, and now all of a sudden against a good defense, the Steelers have a respectable defense and ate them alive. By the way, just note to self, right? Probably a week late on this, Stevie D. When the team blitzes, in order to beat the blitz, you want to throw underneath a lot of crosses, a lot of slants, screens to the running back. It'll stop the blitz. FYI. So you saw a lot of catches were underneath, and then he got a lot of yak. Again, if they're coming this way, you throw it right over the top, and then they go that way.
Look, I think you look at a guy like Joe Flacco. He's been in the league almost 20 years. He hasn't forgotten how to play football, and I think if you give him a clean pocket with those receivers, he'll make throws and he'll make the plays because he knows I got to get it to the playmakers. I'm going to read it real quick and get rid of it. And he did that job against the Steelers. I give him all the credit in the world for handling that. It's a bad loss by the Steelers.
It is.
Horrible loss by the Steelers.
So now the question is, here's the question. Have the Bengals salvaged their season by making the trade for Joe Flacco?
I think it's a little early, right? I think it's a little early to say they salvaged the season because they're 3-4. By the time they, get to week 11, and if they're 6-5, then I could say, yeah, they're putting themselves in a position to make a run for a wild card spot. But I think it may be low. They salvage the season because they're 3-4. If they lose, I guess to your point, maybe that's where you're going. If you lose, you're 2-5, and all intents and purposes, you're probably not going to make a run. So if that's what you mean, yeah. And they salvage their season because they have hope. They still have hope.
They were trending in the wrong direction, that's for sure. And now either they've given themselves enough runway until Burrow gets back, or if things continue, which I can't see why they wouldn't. Right? They're in a good spot. To your point about the receivers, you got two of the best that are in the game. Right, and now you got somebody that knows how and is not a rookie coming in, not a journeyman. He knows how to deal. I'm not a big fan, but he knows how to deal. So as long as he can put the ball in their hands, away they go. Away they go. There's more, Stevie D. I'm going to touch on this real quick. Caleb Williams is winning, so kudos to Caleb and to Ben Johnson there in Chicago. Who is not winning, Stevie D, would be the Miami Dolphins.
First of all, Mike McDaniels during the game.
Wait, hold on. When you have to start out with, first of all, this is not going to be good.
He thinks he's a pimp on the sideline with those sunglasses. Are you kidding me, Mike McDaniel? You trying to do a fashion statement with those sunglasses? Seriously? You see? Did you know the sunglasses? Come on, Mike McDaniel.
I saw him.
He's dead man walking.
He is.
Stephen Ross, I'm surprised he hasn't made the move, but he's literally dead man. His press conferences are confusing. I don't know what he's saying. It's like a word salad.
He knows what he's saying.
Horrible. And those picks did you see that one that he threw it like his own 5-yard line or whatever? Mm-hmm. Mike McDaniels is walking down the side. Get off the field. I mean,
we're at the point where it's time for Zach.
He's the number 3 quarterback.
You bring him in.
So they demoted him and promoted Quentin Ewers. Oh, you didn't hear this? Okay. So they promoted, the day of the game, they promoted Quentin Ewers as number 2, demoted Zach to number 3 as the emergency quarterback. So they interviewed him and they said, why? And he says, I thought this particular game, Quentin Ewers matched up better against that defense. So I promoted Quentin Ewers because based off what I saw in practice that, I'll make changes. And I thought during the week of practice that Quentin Ewers was a better matchup as the number 2 quarterback rather than Zach. And next week, Zach may be, back as the number 2.
Yeah.
It couldn't happen better to a better franchise.
Tua's got to sit down. We've been saying Tua's got to sit down for his own health. Now you have to sit down because your play is atrocious. There's nothing else to say, Stevie D. That play is just bad.
So when you see that bad, and he said some stuff that he said, and I know he apologized to his teammates, and even Nick Saban was beside himself like, that's not Tua that I know. That's not who he is. He's never shown that side of him in college. Is there a problem between Tua and Mike McDaniel that's affecting his play on the field?
That's a good question because Mike McDaniel resurrected Tua's career.
Right.
He believed in him. And
we all didn't. That is for torture.
Now, what he saw, I don't know, because I'm not a Tua fan, right? Not. I think Tua is on the Alabama hype, and I think that his play in the league, really, aside from the little scheme that first came out from McDaniel. Remember, when Mike McDaniel came in, and it's like every one-hit wonder coach, they have this new scheme that other teams, other coordinators, they haven't really seen it. And he put together a bunch of just 100-meter sprinters on the field and said, we're going to run almost like Paul Westhead with the Lakers, right? We're going to run, and this is going to be showtime. And they lit the Broncos up. Remember, they hung 70 on the Broncos, right? And they were the talk of the town. And Tua could do no wrong. And then all of a sudden, teams are like, wait. We know how to stop this, right? And then all of a sudden, slowly but surely, whether it be you know, just each team stopping the Dolphins, and they'd have a little breakout, but nothing close. And then all of a sudden they started to expose, right? They started to expose that offensive line that was weak. And all of a sudden the Tariq Hills of the world weren't able to get open as quickly as they needed to be, right? And you couldn't get to Achan, you couldn't get to a Mozart, and then they started to go downhill. And then the concussion started and everything else. If I'm Tua, there's no way in the world that I am going to have animosity against Mike McDaniel. You got me paid. You are the one that got me paid. So I owe you a debt of gratitude.
Yeah, but that debt of gratitude, that wears off, right? It wears off. And if you're butting heads in meeting rooms and you're not getting along and you're not, maybe you're trying to, sometimes your ego gets in the way and say, why isn't the coach listening to me? And maybe there's something there.
So, okay,
Look,
you
Jimmy
played.
Johnson and Jerry's world over there, right? They couldn't get together and they won 2 Super Bowls with
You
ego.
play Tua, and I'll play Mike McDaniel. Like, where are my sunglasses? All right. And scene.
Coach, you look ridiculous with those sunglasses. We're indoors. Can you take those sunglasses off? What, you think you're Hollywood?
Hey, Tua, go look at your bank account.
Yeah, I know. I earned it. I
Go
earned
look,
that.
go look at your bank account.
I saved your job when they wanted you out of here.
I made you $140 million. I mean, that's all Mike McDaniel has to say. Tua, if he is upset with Mike McDaniel, then again misguided. Maybe it's the concussions. Maybe it's onset CTE that he forgot how he got to where he was because he was already on the verge of questionable what's your longevity, and then he had a little bit. I do think they need to move on. They need to revamp that entire offense. They really do. You got good pieces, but you haven't addressed the offensive line. That's your biggest killer. Then you got a guy back there that he knows he can't stay in the pocket. He's got to get the ball out in 2 seconds. If he doesn't, he's hearing footsteps and he's making horrible throws. The throw that he made against the Bills to Bernard is probably one of the worst I have ever seen. That was just, I'm throwing it to you, right? It wasn't like Bernard made a great play on the ball. I'm throwing it to you. And this was crunch time, Stevie D, when I expect you to be at your full.
You mean the interception that he threw at his own 6 yard line was not bad when nobody's around?
Yeah, that's
Well,
bad.
he was off balance when he threw that. I don't know what he was thinking. Like, I guess he's like, I'm not going to take a safety, so I'm just gonna throw it and hope something bad doesn't happen. I don't know. You're right. The throw against Buffalo was horrible because he stirred down that receiver and made it obvious where he was going with the ball. He never looked off, and it was easy pickings for your guy. You're right, and that was in crunch time. That was pretty bad. All right.
So, all right. Let's address the 800-pound gorilla. Are the Chiefs back?
Yeah, I do.
Everybody says yes, they're back.
Yeah.
I
Sleeping giant is awake.
I refuse to go there yet,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. You beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
You beat the Raiders. I need to see more. That's just like the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, one thing we do say, you can only beat the player or the teams that are on your schedule. Fair enough. But there is something to your strength of schedule. Trust me, when it comes to this team here, I got issues because we haven't beat anybody either. But looking at Kansas City, you are still in a prove it mode to me. Now, in fairness, you got Rice back after he could have killed somebody. I digress. You got Rice back after he ran from the scene of a crime. I digress. You got Rice back after his suspension should have been much longer. I digress. Okay. So besides Rice, you have Hollywood Brown. He's starting to come into a little bit. You have Kelsey, who's made some plays over the last couple of weeks. You have Hunt and Pacheco. Right, this is what we're accustomed to seeing. Right, you still have some things that are not happening. Thank you. We still have some things. Appreciate that one. I need my ticker in the back. That's what I need. If you don't know what we're talking about, Jason Zucker just scored and lit the lamp, tying the game 1-1 between those Buffalo Sabres and Detroit Red Wings. They call it Hockey Town, USA. Yeah, whatever. You're playing in the 716, baby. But they have those pieces back. Those are named pieces, and they have Xavier Worthy. How could I forget that? You're welcome. But the defense, the dysfunction we saw with the defense, that doesn't go away. That tells me that there's a little bit more. So this may be their last ride. Fair enough, right? You let's win it for the Gipper type deal, right? They got one last ride in them, but I will not subscribe to the fact that they are the same or they're coming back to being the same. You got to show me. You got to prove it to me. You're near Missouri, right? Isn't that the show me state?
We don't talk about Missouri. We're on the Kansas side. We don't address Missouri.
My bad.
I learned that pretty quickly when I've been out here. If you're on the Kansas side, it's just, which I never thought it was that way about Kansas. It's very snooty towards Missouri. Didn't realize that Missouri is really the little brother to Kansas.
So that's like New York City, New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey's got that complex. Yeah, that's fair. But I differ from you in your opinion about it because one, they were in the Super Bowl last year. They won the Super Bowl the year before. They've been in 5 Super Bowls. The core leaders that helped guide them there are still there. That heart of a champion, they're not ready to give it up. And now that their offense is now healthy, where when I say healthy, meaning all their weapons are on the field, whether they're from suspension, from injury, whatever, everybody's there. Yes, it was against the Raiders. They put it on cruise control. They could probably put up 50 if they wanted to, because it was 28-0 at halftime. Right? So that's the first regular season shutout by an Andy Reid coach team in his history in the regular season. First time ever. They're up 28-0 at halftime. The things are clicking. If their passing game gets back on track because their receivers are healthy, that's going to open up Pacheco in the running game. They're not the same Chiefs they were last year. And I also believe that there's a little extra focus there with the Chiefs because people have been saying they're dead. They're done. They were 2-4 and they're done. And when you have a heart of a champion, and that's what they are, okay, no other really team in the AFC can say that they are a champion. When you have a core nucleus and a heart of champions, they can get refocused. They can get refocused and re-energized and go on that tear. Now, whether they'll be the top seeded team, whether they'll go back to the Super Bowl, but the sleeping giant is now awoken. And I do believe because people have called them out saying that they were done at that piece of it. And now that they're healthy again, we'll see what they'll cook up. So I don't – at 3-4, look, the Lions had it. It was right there for their taking. They couldn't win the football game. If the Lions win that football game, because are the Chiefs 4-3? They're 4-3 now.
Let me check. They are 4-3, 3-1 at home.
If Detroit would have won and made them at 2-4, whew, totally different conversation. But because they beat Detroit, and Detroit's no slouch, and now that they whipped the Raiders, I definitely think the Chiefs are back. Whether they're, like I said, they are going to the Super Bowl, I just don't think they're dead, and they're a threat in the AFC.
So, okay, Stevie D.
What? Look at this guy.
Hey, there he is. There he is. All right, let's bring it home now. Since I was on a bye week, I'm going to let you go first. Um, you tell me how long you want to go. Is this long or is this short? And I do want to say I feel partly responsible as well. I do.
Responsible for what?
I gave your owner credit.
Oh, for keeping his mouth shut, letting
Yeah,
the people, and then he goes to
yeah.
an owners meeting, and
That
the owner finds him.
I said he had matured and he was doing all the.
Well, here's what I'll say. I don't have a problem that he spoke out. Your team is 0-7. People want to understand, what's going on with the owner. What is he thinking? So I don't have a problem that he spoke up, and he spoke up that, yeah, I'm not real happy that we're 0-7. It's kind of like, and Rich can attest, right? Rich, chime in. It's not what you say; it's how you say it. And I think by him coming out and saying, "Well, if our quarterback can complete a pass, name me too many teams where a quarterback." I think the quote was, name me how many teams can win when your quarterback can't complete a pass. Tell me how many coaches are successful." Okay, the quote is a little bit misguided in the quote. It's not that Justin Fields necessarily can't complete a pass. Yes, he had a bad week. He had some in that first half. He missed some throws. The problem was not that I have seen on the tape, and I've gone back and forth with many Jet fans, and I think many Jet fans only have access to the TV feed, so you may not see everything. Luckily for you and I, we have the ability to go back and watch game tape on different camera angles that really shows you the whole field. Justin Fields is not pulling the trigger to throw the ball to open receivers. I started seeing a trend earlier in the year, and I said, "Well, maybe it's not so bad." And it seems like every week it's been getting worse. And it's almost like he's got PSD or PTSD, because it's almost like Justin is afraid to throw the ball to turn it over. Because if he
Mhm.
turns it over, it's I'm going to get pulled, or they're not going to pull me out. I'm not turning the ball over, right? I got 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. If you look at the game against Pittsburgh in week 1, he really was the real deal because he threw the ball in tight windows. He let it rip. There were some throws I'm like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Oh my God, he completed the pass," right? But I'd rather see that than hold the ball and you throw an interception, right? Then not throw an interception because you're afraid to throw the football. You're paid to lead your team and throw the football. And I'll tell you, I got into it with many Jet fans on this because they believe it's not a QB problem. It's an offensive coordinator's problem. Oh, yeah. Could we have called different plays in certain situations? Find me a perfect offensive coordinator. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Even the teams that have really good records, there's games where they're going to say we lost because of our offensive coordinator, right? So they're not going to be perfect, right? So um, I just look at Woody and I say you could have said something that was less impactful, that could have not maybe caused a riff with the Jets in the locker room. That's what I'll say there. So I don't know. I liked it when he was quiet, right? I liked it when he was quiet. And look, he gave a vote of confidence for Aaron Glenn. I like that because I don't think everything's Aaron Glenn's problem. And look, all right, now the full bag is open, right? Now the bag is open. Thank God the timer's not going. If Jet fans thought that coming into the season everything was going to be perfect because we got rid of Robert Saleh, right? Because everybody wanted Saleh gone. If you peel back the problems that the Jets have had, we've had undisciplined play. We've had tons of penalties. We have things that have gone unchecked for years. You're bringing in a new coach with a whole new system. everything is new to every player, from the offense and the defensive side of the ball. Our defense is now changing. Okay, our defense is changing. We see more positive play. Now this week is going to be ugly because Sauce Gardner is going to be out and with a concussion. I don't think he's going to be able to make it. So that hurts us when you're going up against the T. Higgins. Yeah, he's going to be out this week. He wasn't playing. He didn't practice at all, and so I just that's not going to happen. So going up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you're gonna miss Sauce, especially being in Cincinnati. It's a homecoming for him. I'm sure he would have been geeked up to play there.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's going to be out. I'd be shocked if he's going to be ready to go, knowing that he didn't practice at all today, not even walkthroughs. Right? We're seeing changes now where the team Brownlee, they made a trade for a corner. He's from outside the organization, doesn't know the past. First game made an impact. He had a great second game, make an impact on defense. Our rookie linebacker out of the University of Miami, drafted to fit the scheme of Aaron Glenn. Quincy Williams has been hurt. He's coming back this week. But the rookie linebacker, the last two games, really started to click at linebacker for the Jets, where he doesn't seem as lost. He understands what is asked of him now, and he's starting to take off. A guy, again, coming out from outside the organization with a new coach. I think you can see where I'm going with this. It's players that are now starting to either understand the scheme, buy into the scheme, and now we're starting to turn a corner on the defensive side of the ball. Special teams, we really haven't had a problem. Nick Folk's been kicking his kicks, and we've been punts have been great with a rookie punter. Our kick returning game outside of the couple of fumbles where we cut people, again, our special teams, our returns is good. Now we got to get the offense on track. We really don't have, really great weapons outside of Garrett Wilson on the receivers. But even last week when Tyrod Taylor came in, look at Justin Fields. They're not calling anything different with Justin Fields than with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor came in the second half, had 4 passes over 35 yards. Okay, 2 of them were intercepted. Don't get caught up on the interceptions. Understand that the guy took his shot. He hasn't played much at quarterback this year. He underthrew one to Lazard. Could have been pass interference because Lazard got smacked in the face. I think the back judge didn't see it because he was behind the play. Can't kill the ref on that one. And he underthrew that one. The touchdown throw, the interception in the end zone, it was on the throw. To me, I thought it was a great play by the corner. Streak down the sideline, yes, he underthrew that one. If he leads the receiver there, he's got it. He underthrew it more towards the inside. It was an easy interception for the corner. Again, the guy had 2 interceptions in the game last week. I forget his name, but he had both picks on Tyrod. But again, we stretched the field, right? He had a throw in the end zone to Arian Smith. Great play by the defender. He was there. He got his hand in there, knocked it out. Nothing the receiver could have done to bring that ball in. It was a really great play by the corner. Again, we took shots downfield. We need Justin Fields, if he was going to be the quarterback, to do that. It's okay to throw the interception. Don't hold the ball. Also, we want to blame the line. The line has not been perfect. But when you have 3 to 3.5 seconds to throw the football and then you get sacked, that's not on the offensive line. Okay? To give you one more example before we move on, there was a bubble screen. He was afraid to throw the bubble screen. He held it and then got pummeled from the backside. Throw the bubble screen. Why are you not throwing it? There was not a defender that undercut it where you would have thrown a pick six. Throw the ball. He's got. I refer it to, like, you remember Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw the ball to first base.
Second baseman.
Right. It's almost like I feel like Justin Fields has got the yips where he doesn't want to throw the ball because he's second guessing himself. Do I throw it? Do I not throw it? I think it's all in here with Justin Fields. He's got the arm talent to make any throw. He's got the strength. Just he can't do it. And maybe it's because he's not comfortable in the pocket. Maybe they need to design more design rollouts to get him to throw the ball. I don't know. But again, it's not an Aaron Glenn problem. per se. It's not the offensive coordinator. It's a quarterback problem. He's got to throw the football. He's got time. It's frustrating to see it and watch it.
But
Watch the tape over it. Watch the
you
tape.
knew what you had before you got him. Not you. I'm talking about the coach because you were talking about the design plays. You knew what you had before you got him. Is it a square peg round hole?
The RPOs. He's not even reading RPOs correctly.
Okay.
Where he's with his athleticism, take the ball out and run it. He had multiple runs to the outside, but he gives it to Brees Hall, who gets 2 yards when you could have had 15. I mean, the outside contain was biting on the run. Easy. It was easy for him to see. You're looking right at it, right? Leave it or take it out, and he's leaving it, and he should have taken. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good. It's not good. And I think, look, Tyrod Taylor won't be on the roster next year, right? He just won't. Age, money. I think that it's nothing that Tyrod Taylor didn't do. It's just I think they're going to look for Brady Cook to be the number 2 behind anybody. And his last year here, I want to see Justin Fields. I want to see Justin Fields work out of this because Tyrod won't be here next year. But you have to.
How much do you owe Justin? How much do you owe Justin?
40 over 2, 30 in guarantees. So, and here's the problem, Jet fans, if you don't know this, and Vince, I don't even know if you know this. When they signed the contract, they added 2 void years. So if you wanted to get out of the contract, you could, but you're going to be kicking that money down the road. To me, I'm not getting rid of Justin Fields. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. If whatever our record is, 0-17, 1-16, 2-15, whatever that record is, I'm keeping Justin Fields and I'm drafting the quarterback. And I'm playing.
Your owner is saying something different.
He said it, but he said that it's Aaron Glenn's decision to do what he wants to do. Right now, again, we can read between the tea leaves on that with an owner. We'll see. Right, we'll see who's playing quarterback. I'm just talking about me. Forget the owner. I'm just talking about me.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not talking from an organizational standpoint. I'm talking from Stevie D's point of view. I'm keeping Justin Fields because I'm not kicking money down the road to bite me in the butt later. Makes no sense. If I'm drafting a quarterback, I might as well keep Justin Fields, let him play until my quarterback's ready, and then I can devote him to 2 or 3, right, depending on where Brady Cook is. Right? It's kind of like what I talked about with the Browns with Joe Flacco. Right? You sign Joe Flacco until you feel your rookies are ready to go. And then once you're ready to go, Flacco takes a back seat. I never thought he'd trade him within the division. But you take the back seat and let the rookies go wherever you decide to go what week. I wouldn't get rid of Justin Fields. I'm not kicking that can. We owe too much money to too many players that are not on the roster. I don't want to add another one. And I don't want to pay for it in years 28 and 29. Nope. You signed a 2-year deal. You eat that money. Don't hurt your team further down the road. No.
Yeah.
As far as the other things in the game, look, you give up 13 points. You got to win the game. Got to win the game.
What'd you give up the week before?
13 points.
Yeah.
We're the first team in Jets history to hold an appointment of 13 points or less in 2 straight games and not come out with a victory. We're the first team in the NFL to be 0-7 when your starting quarterback has not thrown an interception. So the Jets are just setting team records and NFL records left and right. I don't know if it's the records we want to own, but it's records we own.
At least you got something to hang your hat on for this season. You got records.
This is a multi-year process. You have to cycle out roster guys that don't fit your scheme and your culture, right? And that's what has to be done. Firing the coach, who are you going to bring in? People are saying, look, Vrabel, before he got hired in New England. The Jets wanted Vrabel. Then they fired Mayo, right? He wasn't coming to the Jets because New England was open. Not that I think he would have come to the Jets anyway, but the Jets wanted to interview him. So it's not like the Jets looked at Vrabel and said, I don't want him. Had nothing to do with that. He was going to New England. So if you fire Aaron Glenn, what are you going to get? There's no magic pill right now to fix the Jets. There's not that magic thing, that magic potion. Oh, well, this coach did this and this coach did that. That coach, VIII, has done it in New England that has more of a culture of winning than the Jets. VIII is an established coach who's a winning coach in the league. So, yeah, he's got a little bit more clout in that in a locker room.
And he's got a quarterback.
And he's developing that quarter. And he's got Josh McDaniels that they have that system, and they brought back Josh. Josh McDaniels wasn't there for Mac Jones.
Right.
Right? So
if I were to rank them, Drake May, even coming out of college, I would have over Justin Fields.
okay.
So they have a high Madden grade. They have a 77 and you have a 70. Right?
Right.
So his deck is stacked a little different than Aaron Glenn's. The only thing with Aaron Glenn, I would say, is that you requested this guy. Right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Aaron Glenn. Half the fan base does, because look, we all want to win, right? When you don't win, you get extremely, even more passionate, and every little thing is going to bother you. It doesn't matter the fan base; it bothers you, right? And so I look at the challenge that Aaron Glenn had. His challenge is a little bit different because he's a rookie head coach, and he's got to change a culture. When Rex Ryan took over the Jets, it's not the same thing. The Jets backed in the playoffs because teams rested their starters. We were 7-7. If the Colts play their starters, we probably don't win, and we go 7-8, or we would have been maybe 8-8. Because again, I don't know against that other team that sat the starters. Could we have beaten them head on? I don't know, but we're probably not in the playoffs. The roster that Rex Ryan got was a pretty good roster that he got over from Eric Mangini. Mangini was a scapegoat because Brett Favre got hurt and he couldn't throw the football anymore. But if I look at what Aaron Glenn is tackling, an undisciplined team, when you had no rules and anarchy under Robert Saleh and Ulbrich, it takes a lot to change that, right? And it takes a lot. And you're putting in a new scheme, like I mentioned earlier. It's going to take time. I know we don't have patience for it. But this is not Aaron Glenn was going to fix this in year one. And honestly, did anybody really think that Justin Fields was going to come in here and light it up when he couldn't light it up anywhere else? He threw for 160 yards in Pittsburgh and got benched after 6 games for Russell Wilson. There was something Pittsburgh saw that they didn't like.
So a couple things. You've hit on a couple things. To answer your last question, I think yes. I think what we saw out of Justin Fields, maybe it wasn't, he wasn't on his way to a 4,000 yard prolific passing or 5,000 yards type season. No, but he had the Steelers 4-2. He was making plays with his arm and with his feet, right? And then all of a sudden they brought in Russell. Now, why? I, again, don't know. Russell was hurt, right? Remember, he started the season with the calf injury, and, were they just in love with Russell, and they thought Russell was their better chance to win, which he wasn't. So when Justin came to the Jets, and you're like, clean slate. This guy wants him. He brought him in. They don't have anybody there that's banging on the door for his starting job. So yeah, I think there was a higher level of expectation. I think it has gone out the door, out the window, as of the last 7 weeks. But I do think there was something there. But you hit on something else, and it resonates with me, Stevie D. It really does. What is happening with the Jets and with Aaron Glenn is reminiscent of 2017 with the Buffalo Bills. In the way Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, when they came in, they made some changes, but to your point, you started to see an infusion of new faces, different free agents, and they started to let go of some of the players, whether or not they had a name or not. Marcel Darius being the biggest name. I think you and I had talked about this at one point. When that happened, I mean, what? Right now, I know that he had done some things, not bad, but he had done some things that you're like, come on, you got to grow up, type thing, the drag racing and all of that. But that was McDermott and McDermott and Bean making a statement to the rest of the locker room. That was him making a statement to the fan base and to the ownership and to the league. I'm here. This is my team. And also, you start to get rid of those cancers. You could be good and put up numbers, but if you are a cancer in that locker room, I don't want you, because what you said, it's about culture. I'm building a certain culture. And as much as I give McDermott a lot of grief, that's his job, is to change the culture. The question is, from his perspective, can he take it to that next level? The question will be, in yours, will Aaron Glenn be the guy to take me to the promised land, or at least to bring me to respectability, so that then my owner goes and gets the coach to take me over?
So you brought up the culture, right, in cutting Darius.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday, there was a penalty by John Simpson, our starting left guard. He's a pretty big name in football. He's not a Hall of Famer, but people know who John Simpson is, the left guard. His penalty cost the Jets 15 yards, and it was a stupid penalty. Stupid personal foul. And you know how this team is changing? Aaron Glenn pulled his ass from the game. Brought him out. You're out. And he made him stand right next to him, and he chewed him out big time. And John Simpson stayed there, and he was out for the rest of that series. That is not what we've seen before. That's where we're talking about that level of accountability. It was a boneheaded play. John Simpson's been in the league way too long to have those boneheaded plays. And it was a killer. It was a killer play, and he pulled him right out. How often do you see a starter like that being pulled out? You're talking about your left guard, your starting left guard, pulling him out in a crucial series and chewing him out, made him stay there, and then put in, I think it was Xavier Newman.
What that tells me is that you truly have the full endorsement of your owner. To have your owner watch and see multiple millions standing on the sideline as you're trying to change the culture. He gets it. He's giving you the full reins to go do what you have to do. Which, if that's the case, yes, you're going to suffer. But what do they say? The light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. You know that you're going for something, right? It's not like you're just aimlessly out there.
Like, I'm pissed. Like when your team loses, right? You're pissed. Doesn't matter if you're good or bad. You're mad because you want to win every game, whether it's baseball, hockey, basketball, football, right? You want to win every game. I don't know if I'm getting older, and I believe me, I lose my mind when we lose. But as I get removed each day, it gets a little bit easier. I say to myself, look, it takes time to change it. It takes time, and I do believe that Aaron Glenn can do it. I thought his press conference was much better. Finally, it wasn't always I gotta go watch the tape. He called out specific areas, right, where before he wasn't doing that. So
you're lucky. I'm 8 years in. We still got to watch the tape.
Well, Aaron Glenn is a man of words, not substance. And so he's trying to sell his vision on every press conference. And when you lose a football game, as fans, we want to know what happened. We know what happened. Why are you sugarcoating it? Why are you giving players a pass when it's obvious the players were what really happened out on that football field? Stupid penalties, right? Turnovers, fumble, whatever the case may be. Don't sugarcoat it. Just tell us. We're fans. We can handle the truth. We saw it. It's like Aaron Glenn. It's okay. We know it. We saw it. Just admit it. It's okay. Just admit it. And then when you do, you're going to feel so much better. Don't treat us like we're idiots and we don't understand what we just saw. So
All right.
appreciate the time. And I was feeling really good. That was like my therapy, get it off my chest. It was like 2 sessions in one. I feel serenity
Well,
now.
and you ended right on time. The timer was about to go off, so we didn't have to start it. You got that internal clock going. That's what you got going. Let's make our way to the 716. So it was the bye week, Stevie D. So you'd think not a lot would happen in the bye week. Not a lot did happen, except for Max is back. So they pulled Max off of IR and they've opened his window. Surprisingly, Tyler Bass's window hasn't started.
What
Which
did he get hurt with? What was his injury in training camp?
it was a pelvic. And I want to say it started before. Because part of my questioning with Bass is why is he kicking in preseason, right? They had held him out of a game, and then they wanted him to kick, and he kicked like 5 field goals in one game, and then he's on IR. I think there may be some there as to the end of the road for Tyler Bass, and it'll be sad because from Official Word Sports, we like you. You are our rookie of the year. So, but and then what else happened? Larry Okeechobee and Michael Hoyt are back from their suspension, back new to the team because they haven't played a game with us because we signed them with an impending suspension because failed drug tests. But I do like the fact that you sign guys that fail the drug test. You're signing guys that want to win, that want to do something, getting that edge. So next thing you know, we'll get some video cameras out there. We'll start taping. And, we'll be well on our way. I'm being facetious with all of that because right now I am in a place of it's kind of dark. It really is kind of dark because when I look at what we have done and what we haven't done, it's really concerning, Stevie D. What concerns me is the fact that we're not going after potential free agents that are out there. And that bugs me. Again, every time we talk about the Bills until Brandon Beane does something, let's just let the scroll go so he can see who's out there because your defense is pathetic. We just talked about the Chiefs. They're getting all their weapons back on offense. You got back a rookie, unproven, that still has to get his legs under him. You're getting back Hoyt, which even in the preseason, he did okay. I'd like to see what he does, but that's preseason. You still have a void there at linebacker. I talked about the Milano injury, and not just injury, but the series of injuries that Milano has. That's concerning. But what's most concerning is the safeties, your last line of defense. No matter how. Whoa, that was a little weird. Okay. No matter how good Max or Benford that they play on the corners, you still have Rapp and Bishop and these guys, Stevie D, they're not it. They're not it. And so you're going to get beat all the time. They will exploit that all the time. And so I feel empty right now. I feel empty because coming into the season, this was a season of hope. This was a more than hope. I almost felt it. I kept telling you and saying to others, this almost feels scripted. It was laid out on a silver platter. It really was. The only thing they said is you just have to do what you're supposed to do, and it's yours. Every tough game, we've made sure that you have at home. We've made sure that we've spaced those out among some of the other teams, and your schedule lines really nice. We know this is your last year in your home stadium. Your transition to the new one next year. We've tried to do everything for you. We even have a Hallmark movie coming out about you guys. We have done everything possible. It's up to you, Bean. It's up to you, McDermott, to just bring it home. And it started off with the Ravens game. Not for the fact, yes, we won the game. And how we won, hey, that's great. You're jumping up and down. But once that excitement, once that euphoria starts to subside, let's really take a look at that game. You lost that game for 3.5 quarters and then made just a wild, valiant push at the end. But you were outplayed. Your rush defense was exposed. Your safeties were exposed. You had no discipline from your edge. That's a problem. That's a problem. We played you guys. We've already talked about what's happening there. Growing, young and growing. You were able to stop them. All right, good. You got that victory. Then you play a Dolphins team in complete disarray. We've already talked about what's going on there with McDaniels and joking with Tua and all of that. Yeah, it's funny, ha ha. But it's only funny up to a point that you almost lost the game. It came down to a Bernard interception that, again, he didn't make the play. It's not like, the Micah Hyde interception, against New England a few years ago. It's not like that. We're talking about Tua just threw it to him. He's like, what do I do with this, right? And you win the game. These are things, Stevie D, that are concerning. This is truly what is bugging me. You play Spencer Rattler and the Saints. That game shouldn't even be close. I think the week before the Saints got blasted. I need to look that up. I don't know if you remember that, but the Saints the week before, I forget who they played before the Bills game. They played the Seahawks. They got beat 44-13 to the Seahawks, Stevie D. Think about this. To the Seahawks.
Hey, the Seahawks are 5-2.
Yes, they may be 5-2, but to the Seahawks, they are not that great of a team. One of their wins comes against the Saints. And you struggle. You struggle. Makes no sense.
That one was puzzling, that game.
And you're at home. And if it wasn't for the fact that they decided to run some dumb play of a reverse running back Philly special, whatever it was, and the running back got picked, you would have been losing. So now you take all of that. You play the Patriots. You got beat. You let Diggs just dictate that game. You play the Falcons. You get beat. You have Ulbrich dictate that game. And yes, I know you talk about Ulbrich against the Bills, but you can beat the blitz. It's documented. You did it. Not with Joe Brady, but you've done it. The coaching is bad. It is bad. The moves by the front office are bad because they're not there. You're right there on the precipice. And then we talked about earlier on in the show, at least Stevie D, I said you got to show me. But Stevie D, being the bougie from Kansas, we're not like Missouri. And he said, we're all in. We're all in, but they're all in. They're ready to go. So you're arch rival, your nemesis, the one that has kept you out, the one that technically, if you were to beat them in 2 weeks, you really would set them back. They're ready to go. And they're ready to take it to you. They're ready to come into your house, defend our turf. Yeah, okay. With what? Bishop? With rap? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, right now, I don't know what to feel. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what this bye week did to me. I think the bye week did more harm than good because it gave me time to reflect. It gave me time to just sit back and watch all these other teams. I watched the Falcons go out there coming off of a week where they just couldn't do no wrong. And they struggled. They struggled to a team that's missing players that are hurt, key players that are hurt, and they struggled. But yet, you're supposed to be the Super Bowl representative? Seriously? I watched it. Those are the things that I wish that we didn't have the bye because I end up watching that and I'm scratching my head. How is this possible? How is this possible? Unless we overestimated the talent on this team, the coaching staff, the front office, and the owner. I talked about last week, it's all about accountability. I will talk about it again this week. It is all about accountability. But forget the accountability that the players have for themselves or that the coaches have for the players or that the coaches have for themselves. The accountability comes from the top. It is Terry Pagula that needs to hold everybody accountable. Trickle down, right? Trickle down economics, trickle down accountability. You hold Brandon Beane accountable. You hold Sean McDermott accountable. You hold Joe Brady accountable and Bobby Badovich accountable. You hold Josh Allen accountable, Terrell Bernard accountable, and the rest of the 53 guys on that roster. You hold them accountable. And Josh, you don't get a free pass. Mr. Madison Avenue on every single commercial. Hey, I'm happy for you. I'm glad to see the Bills logo out there, 50 times a day when I'm watching TV. That's great. But did you forget how you got to that point? Because you put in the work and you dedicated and it was about winning. Not about, there's more to life than football. Really? Really? For you, who's getting paid and who you is relying, the whole city, the whole state is relying upon you to do your job. Now all of a sudden you want to go off and have a whole nother escapade. I'm happy for you got married. Well, I wish you nothing but long time wedded bliss. But you also have a job. And as the quarterback of this team, as the one that is taking up the vast majority of our money, and the reason why we have no money from salary cap, because we're paying you, it's up to you to lead these guys. You need to be accountable.
So you mentioned salary cap. So you mentioned salary cap just now. Do you have money to sign people? Is it a matter of I have to redo deals to sign somebody? Like, because you mentioned, not getting people help.
It's not a spending spree like you have an American Express Black Card and you just walk it through, shut down the store and I'm shopping. But when there's a deal to be done, you can make the deal.
So I mean, why do you think you're not making a deal?
Look at what Howie does with the Eagles.
Yep.
Nobody can explain how they get that done. Nothing but all-stars up and down that roster and a quarterback that is into a second contract. So if it can be done, it can be done.
So they haven't made any moves. Obviously, there's been no talk of moves. Is it because they don't want to spend the money, or are they just
It's a great question.
blind to, hey, this roster can do it. We don't need to bring somebody in from the outside to help out.
It's a great question. It is a great question. I have my feelings and my thoughts on it. I believe that it is ego driven. I believe that they went into this 2025 season. the whole mantra, everybody can eat. We don't need to go out there and get the quote unquote number one wide receiver. We have great guys out here who do things, which they can. They can, in fairness. I also know that they drafted a guy in the second round that they said this is the heir apparent for our safeties, right, to replace Poyer and Hyde. And we struck gold with Poyer and Hyde 6 or 7 years ago. We know what we're looking for, and we got it. I could have told you it wasn't in rap. I could have told you that. We saw him with the Rams. He wasn't that great. And then we saw him when he was with us. When in the first game he is a good backup safety.
Okay.
Good backup safety. Cole Bishop may end up being a good backup safety. Here's the problem. You have two backups playing side by side, starting. That's really, really dangerous. Because typically, if you have a backup in there, you got the veteran that's the starter, and he's able to kind of position him and coach him on the field while everything's going. Which is why I think we saw Poyer on the field to kind of become that coach to tell how to get in position. That's what I think. Neither here nor there. Poyer is not – he's the upgrade, as I talked about. He's the 70, and they're the 60 in the Madden ratings. So, what do we do? What do we do? We sit and we wait. We have Carolina coming up. It's going to be very interesting.
Home or away?
Away. Bank of America in Charlotte. Here's the reason why this is interesting. Because to your the question you asked, why haven't they gone out and signed these people? They believe that they have signed all the people that they needed to sign, and they made the right signings. Same people that signed two people who had failed drug tests that they didn't do their homework on. They can say that they did their homework. No, you didn't. Okay. And then you're relying on a rookie, and we don't know that he's going to come back against Carolina. I doubt he comes back against Carolina. Probably they're going to force him in against Kansas City the week after, but I don't think he comes back to Carolina. You're going to have basically your average defense. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, we scored.
I'm trying to help you out, bud.
Oh, we scored.
Have to take the lead.
that helps. Well, you can celebrate a little bit. All right. All right. The mighty Quinn scored. Very good. But you're going to have this defense go up against what has been the league's one of the best running game in probably the last 3 weeks. So it's going to be
running back.
What's that?
That running back is legit. He's a
load. Yeah, and Hubbard's not anything to sneeze at himself. And now you have a veteran quarterback. So they're going to be feeding them the ball, and then you're going to allow that to go to Leggett, and then, oh, man, Stevie D, this is the game I'm going to hate. Because the guy I wanted, Bean didn't take my call, wouldn't listen to me. I told him to get him, Jimmy Horn Jr., out of University of Colorado. Played with pride. I loved him there at Colorado. Obviously, Hunter and Shador, they took all the headlines. But he was like right behind him. And he was this fast guy running out of the slot, could play the X, the Y, the Z, but he's a smaller receiver. But he was so electric fast. And I think they got him in the 5th round. We couldn't have got him in the 5th round, but we're going to see him out there, right? And so now you have your corners are depleted. This could be a game that turns ugly and where you start gripping because you're thinking, this is the Carolina Panthers. We should be able to beat the Carolina Panthers. And you start gripping harder and harder and harder. And next thing you know, well, in an upset today, the Carolina Panthers defeated the Buffalo Bills. And you're like, how did this happen? And now you have Kansas City.
Can I ask you a question? Because you kind of danced around Madison Avenue. When you talked about Madison Avenue, do you
Oh,
think?
I didn't dance. I didn't dance. He's not focused.
So that leads me to my question: Is did he go to the Bills and say, "I need to stop running the football as much as I am"? I mean, is there a possibility that he's asked because being married now? You said he said something about I have a different focus. I forget the word that he used or you used.
Football isn't the only important thing.
Right. So do you think that maybe on the pillow talk that he has with his wife that hey, your style of play, you're getting older. Maybe you need to change your style of play. You think there's any possibility of that, or am I just
No, no, because we saw this 2 years ago.
okay?
That this is a Joe Brady, Sean McDermott concoction.
Well, that's a shame because I don't know. I mean, he's like the ultimate weapon.
He is, and they stopped it. If you remember, a couple of years ago, all of a sudden, Josh stopped running. You're like, why? And it didn't. It took them going 6-6 till and then they were under the gun, and they had to flip the switch, and then all of a sudden, Josh started running, and things just opened up, and they were high flying, and they rolled right into the playoffs. That was that year. That was when they decided we want to take care of Josh. Not so many injuries. Just tell the man to be smart. He's smart enough to say, look, enough of the hurdles. All right. If we can come together, right, you don't need to be jumping over guys. The only time I expect you to jump is like Elway. In the Super Bowl, you need it. You go ahead and hurdle. Outside of that, you get out of bounds, you slide. Let's be smart about it. But you do you. If you want to do a shimmy, you want to do a shake, you do you. But no, and we could see Stevie D. We could see the issues. Look at the amount of touches Cook gets. You scratch your head. You're like, this guy was lighting it up. Why are you cutting back on his carries? And why are you cutting down on his time on the field? Better yet, you're right. We talked about Le'Veon Bell and how many carries and the way Pittsburgh abused him. But put Cook on the field. You could call whatever. He's a decoy. Linebackers are going to look at him. Safeties are going to creep up. Smart play calling. Smart scheming. If I put Ty Johnson or Ray Davis out there, you think the linebackers are worried about that? We pause.
You boys are on fire now.
How much further ahead are you than me? This whole streaming thing. All right. I digress.
You still showing 3-2?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm liking like 4 different replays of the goal. Wow.
I mean, this is the longest pause.
Google
Goal.
Fiber, baby.
Wow. Wow, that was a delay. Anyways, how I got here though, Stevie D, is sometimes the bye week is not good for you. You think it's time to rest. It gives you time to reflect.
Well, maybe that's what they did, and maybe they'll make some adjustments. Maybe they'll
those
have.
guys, those guys,
I'm hoping for your sake that they've had some of those tough conversations.
those are the guys that think they're the smartest people in the room.
Oh.
That's the problem. They're like, Hoyt's back. Ogunjobi's back. Max, you're coming in a couple weeks. We're all set. So, all right. This is. Oh, there's Stadium and Gale. These guys, they have a coach available for you. The Florida Gators fired Billy Napier, which is a long time coming, right? And so, but Stadium and Gale broke the news. They were the first to call it. So, congratulations and kudos to those guys from Stadium and Gale. All right, Stevie D. Yeah, this is. I don't know. I think I may have hurt myself more with this show, you needed therapy. Not now. I'm all wired up out. And I'm just thinking about where do you go from
Just
here?
blame the Jets. See, the Jets are the cause all these problems.
It is. I think it really is. I think it really is. But no, that's gonna wrap this one up. It's yeah, I may need you to close the show, Stevie D, because I'm really starting to get bent. I could do a whole nother hour of how McDermott, Bean, Brady, Babbage, Pagula, Allen, Bernard, Dawkins. Yeah, dude, I can keep going. These guys are letting get a little tense over here, Stevie D. Like before we have any theatrics, I know sometimes people like to see the theatrics. No theatrics. I'm trying to be a kinder, more gentler Vince here on OW Sports. So I'm trying. So because of that, we're going to have to end the show early so that I then can take it off camera. that way I can keep that image going of a kinder, more gentler. No, in all seriousness, no, we appreciate everybody tuning in. We appreciate those who participated in today's show. Stevie D, it is one of those things. I'm telling you, it is one of those things. You're fighting your demons over there from what's going on in Jetland, and I'm fighting mine. What's happening over at the 716? It's not good, but just so everybody does know, did have a conversation, and I did express the opportunity for my man Stevie D to come to Bill's Mafia, and there is an exception clause in there. He did not take me up on that, so I don't ever want to hear him say that I haven't done anything for him. I went out of my way, and I spoke to the fan guy. I explained everything. Young guy, his team was there. They left him while he was there. Yes, they close proximity, but in a different state. His state does have a team. He was still there, so he can come. He's going through a hard time right now. I don't like to see my guy all down and depressed. And he gets mad, temper. You can see the vein popping out the top of the forehead. All these things. I'm looking out for him. He just celebrated a transitional type birthday, right? And so now with that, we have to look out for certain things, right? When you hit a certain point in life, whether it be blood pressure, whether it be diabetes, cholesterol, all these things. And so it's, as a friend, as a brother, it's up to me to look out for my man. So I asked him, I said, hey, all we ask is that you make an exception. He said, oh, this is more than an exception. Part of the rules say that if his team leaves, he has the opportunity, but he can only go to a team in his state.
No. Technically speaking, that's not the rule. You're twisting the rule there.
The fan guy, no, this is what the fan guy told me. The fan guy said you can only go to a team in your state, or if there's not a team in your state, to the closest by proximity would be your team. And yes, by proximity, you could stay aligned to the Jets or to the Giants or even go to the Eagles, but there is a team in your state. And so, we came upon an agreement.
Anything above Schenectady is not considered New York.
There it is. This is the bougie Kansas, Missouri, New York City, New York State. And, we all have the same governor. Just saying it. We all pay.
That only pertains to Buffalo. Okay, so that's why I say it's like a whole different world up there. I don't even know what it is.
Don't worry about it. When you look on there and it says what team plays in the state of New York. Oh, only one team. That would be the Buffalo Bills. And so the fan god said he could come on over. I said, not a problem. Not a problem. I will let him know. It's probably going to be hard for him to accept that, and it may take a while. He said, that's okay. But he is extending the opportunity. And I wanted to let you know that I was looking out for you, man. I really was. I was looking out for you, your best interest. And I also asked for special provisions for Richard, since Richard wasn't technically born in New York State. He said, as long as the father has to go first, this is key. The father has to go first. Once the father goes, then the son can go. And I said, well, now I'm the uncle. And he said, well, but it's really the father first. So once you make that move, I got it lined up for you. That's what I do for you.
They say never. Well, I'm saying never. That
This is
will
what
never happen.
I'm doing for you.
I will go down with. I'm like the captain of the Titanic, right? I go down with it. I go down with the ship.
Well, we know how that had worked out.
Well, then so be it.
I'm the one that's got the lifeboat out there for you. Let's roll. Let's go.
Women and children, I go down with the ship. I give my seat away to others.
Oh, wow.
I'm the one that had to go to bed and didn't see the stupid iceberg. I deserve to go down with
All right. Well, that's going to wrap this up. I just want everybody to know how I do good deeds. Just going to put that out there. But yeah, that's going to wrap this one up. I hope you enjoyed your bye week, Bills Mafia. Jet fans, keep looking up. Don't give up yet. Don't give up. Except for when you play the Bills. You can give up because we'll probably need that game. All right. So for my man Stevie D, I'm Vince. We'll talk to you soon.